What's up? We'll make sure you have fun. We're at HopFarm Brewing right now. We're about to do our collaborative beer for FreshFest, Brewfest. And yeah, we're gonna give you a little bit behind the scenes of what that looks like. Check it out. This is Tom from HopFarm, Sales and Marketing Manager, also Super Beer Guru.
Yes. I've never been called that before, but I like it.
Yes. Yeah. Or brewing beer. But let's tell you a little bit about HopFarm.
We've been open since 2013, September. We're getting up to 6 years. Very exciting. Kind of a mom and pop shop owned by Matt and Emily Gowans. They've been here. This is their original and only location, spanning through that wall over there. Hopefully sometime this year, take over all of the Arsenal Strength building next door to us. And we make any number of IPAs, dark beers, wheat beers, sour. We're getting really heavy into lager. That big boy right there, it's filled all filled with lager. It's all sold too, before it's even packaged. So business is booming.
Sarah is our beer guru on the team. She's super into beer, and I want to talk a little bit about the inspiration of this particular beer.
Right.
How do we?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So we all got together, which was super fun, and HopFarm had us over, and we came and tried a whole bunch of beers. We are gin drinkers for the most part, so we talked a little bit about some of those gin flavors.
Absolutely.
We talked about different wheats, getting a little bit creative with what we would actually use to brew with. I feel like we tossed around quinoa a little bit.
We did.
Felt a little predictable, and we settled on farro.
Yeah, when I usually do a collaboration with someone, I like to just pull them apart. I don't know if you noticed that. I was just hitting you with questions.
You're asking so many questions.
Tearing you guys apart to the
Yeah.
point where it was get to know you, get to know your drinking habits, get to know your eating habits, get to know your sensibility about, just food, drink, life, what you enjoy, and how we can infuse that into the beer. That's like how I do a collaboration with someone. And I don't want them to be like, we just brewed something, it's an IPA, it's a stout, and I don't really like that. I want someone to be enthusiastic about this is something that this is my go-to flavor. This is my go-to food item right now. And that's how we got to the farro, that's how we got to the juniper and the lemon. Someone was like, someone said to me, they're like, isn't that just gin and juice? And I'm like, in what universe is lemonade juice? I'm like, it's mostly water, right? I'm just boggling my mind. I'm like, no, it's not.
And you asked us good seasonal questions too.
Mm-hmm.
So be mindful of.
What's around, especially with the quinoa, that would have been like gluten-free additive to a wheat beer, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So then we kind of got into that other track, and you said you guys were cooking a lot with farro. So
yeah, we got introduced to Spanish farro like what? How many months ago was this? Pretty recently. No, but we took to the farro. Like Sarah said, we drink a lot of gin and pulling that juniper berry.
Yeah, we were talking about like types of gin,
right.
Talking about the botanical gin, talking about the dry gin. Turns out you guys are dry gin people.
Right.
So we went heavy, like we're thinking juniper for sure, not so much on the other like botanical side. We're just gonna go juniper berry, lemon peel, and a little coriander too, because that's tradition for Belgian wit.
Yes. Yes. So that's pretty much the basic concept of what we got going on. But you have the farro in now.
We did. Yeah, we tossed that. John is covered in head to toe in powder because you can't really toss that through the mill because it's not malted.
Yeah.
So you mean it's gonna like just bust, like turn to powder when you crack it up.
using so much wheat that doesn't naturally have hulls, so we use rice
You
hulls.
said you're using so much wheat that what?
The wheat doesn't have hulls the way like barley does. So putting the rice hulls in helps keep the grain separate so it doesn't all clump together and make a big mess in our lauter tun. So it just makes the process easier for us.
This is John, head brewer at HopFarm Brewing. John, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
You can tell us a little bit about the process. We talked about the farro, we talked about the juniper, we talked about the lemon. Break down to us how this all works.
Okay. Well, at this point, we are mashed in. We put some farro in as a substitute for some of the wheat. There's still wheat in there as well, but we put some of the farro. You have to grind it more, not quite into a powder, but much more of a powder than you would with grain, I guess you could say.
And why is that?
It's unmalted, so in order to get the extract and the sugars from it, you pretty much have to get it down to a powder. And or to mash is a little bit different. You have to do some different temperatures than you normally would. But that's what's going on right now.
Hopefully he'll explain to us what we're doing next.
Yeah, so right now the mash is done. Sugar conversion into mash is good. So now we're transferring from our mash kettle to our lauter tun. So right now we're just moving liquid and all the grain that's been soaking, all moving through these lines into there. Once that is complete, we will do what's called vorloffing, which is basically letting all the liquid in the lauter tun go through the grain, come out the bottom through a false bottom, which is just screens with a bunch of holes that liquid can get through, grain can't, and we'll recirculate the liquid through the bottom back up onto the top of the grain bed. And the purpose of that is basically any little particles of grain that may have come through in the liquid, you replace that back on the bed so you don't collect it when you go to boil. You'll get off flavors and things like that if you get all that just junk through and whatnot. And then we'll do that process for a little bit, and then once everything looks good to the eye, we'll start transferring back over, and the next step will be to the boil.
Alright, so we just wrapped our brew day. We're here with Matt, the owner of HopFarm Brewing. Matt, super excited for the collaboration. We can't wait. How you feel about it?
I think it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be good. FreshFest, August 10th, Nova Place. We out. Stay tuned.